Hi everyone, welcome to the Flux Dev Meeting, uh, 11 of February. So the topic for today, the main topic is Flux 2.8. We have decided to do the 2.8 release before the end of quarter. So we have some time before KubeCon starts, and yeah, not dealing with issues at KubeCon. So I have created an issue for this. Kidan, could you screen share this issue, please?
I'm actually on my phone.
Oh, okay. I'll try to do it. 1 second. Can you see it?
yes.
Oh. So, no, it's the wrong one. This let me make it bigger. I can go over it. Um, so the main thing we are rolling out in 2.8 is support for version 4 of Helm that comes with tremendous changes to how Flux works with Helm releases. Some big things that are coming that we've been, hoping for many years is server-side apply, being able to, have Helm do server-side apply instead of client-side. Um, Flux have been using all the other Flux components have been relying on server-side apply for 5 years now. So this finally gets Flux on the same page, no matter what controller you use to deploy your apps. Other nice things that we are getting into Helm controller with the V4 upgrade is custom health checks of custom resources part of the Helm chart. This was a major pain point for everybody. I don't know, you had custom cert in there, or you had, I don't know, cross-plane custom resource. And Helm said, yes, it's fine, everything was deployed, while in fact, I don't know, cross-plane takes half an hour to deploy stuff, it breaks, you'll never know. Right now, you can define cell expressions in the same way you can do in Flux customizations, where you make aware Helm controller, hey, there are these custom resources being deployed part of the Helm release. You should wait for them, do a proper health check. Another major thing is, and a major pain point with Helm and Helm releases, is that let's say you have, I don't know, some deployment in there that takes half an hour to roll out. You realize you messed up. You change the Helm values, but you need to wait for the current upgrade to finish, timeout, and only then Flux will see, okay, there is a new revision, let me apply these other changes and so on. And on, large clusters or bare metal clusters where these timeouts are huge because this is the specification of the cluster. It's really hard to fix issues. You need to wait for timeouts, you need to wait for dependencies and so on. What will what we are going to ship in Helm controller in 2.8 is a future gate where you can tell Helm controller and customize controller as well to cancel in-flight health checks when the revision changes. And what revision means is maybe there is a change in your in the chart version, maybe there is a change in inline health values or in config maps and secrets, which are referenced as values. Any kind of change you make to the desired state, Flux will figure that out. Okay, there is a change. No point in waiting 2 hours for this hand release to finish. I should cancel and move to the latest desired state, which is already specified in the cluster. So this has two major advantages. One, for dev clusters where you iterate very fast over things. You no longer have to wait. You do a git commit, change some values, Flux will cancel everything and it will apply latest. For Bootstrap and production systems where you have, let's say, deployed something that it takes a very long time to roll out. While it rolls out, you realize, oh, this will cause an incident, this will take everything down. You can ship very fast a patch and Flux will react to it and will apply it. So it has advantages for the usual dev workflow where you play with a lot of things, you experiment, but also for reducing the mean time to recovery on production systems. We are going to ship this again, as I said, under a feature gate. We are going to see how things are working with 2.8. I encourage everybody to enable the feature gate, give us feedback on this canceling of health checks. If everything goes fine, we plan to turn on the feature gate by default. So hopefully in next Flux versions, you don't have to opt in into this behavior. It will just become the default. This is how Flux should act from now on. Other things also around hand releases, this feature is not related to hand v4 in any way. We are improving the UX around and the way you can observe and discover what's happening with the hand release. So right now, if you want to see what objects are part of a hand release, what things this hand release manages, there is a Flux CLI command, and that CLI command needs to get secrets from the cluster where the Helm storage is, parse all these secrets, extract the name of your deployment services, RBAC, whatever you have in there, so you can see what actually is managed by Flux. And this has a bunch of challenges. For example, there is a built-in Kubernetes role called view. If you have a multi-tenant cluster and let's say the dev team has access to the app's namespace, normally you'd assign the view role to your dev team. But the view role does not include the right to read secrets. So if you want to pick in, you want to know, you want to run, let's say, um, the Flux trace command, or you want to use the Flux UI we are building in Flux operator, all these tenants which have the view role will not be able to see what's being managed by hand release because you can't query secrets. So you need to relax your RBAC setup, allow your tenants to query secrets for this feature to work. Also, if you have thousands of hand releases in a cluster and you want to see what are all the deployments managed by via Helm in the cluster, it's not enough to just query the Helm releases. You need to query the Helm releases. Then we need to query all the secrets behind these Helm releases, parse them. In the secret contains a tar gzip of all the YAMLs. It's a very, very expensive operation. The more Helm releases you have, the Flux trace and the UI will be slower and slower. It will put more pressure on the API. So in order to solve this security and performance issue, we are now shipping in Flux 2.8 a change to the Helm release status where Helm controller stores the inventory of the things that it manages. Status inventory is not a new concept in Flux. We have it since forever. It's part of the Flux customization API. In customized controller uses the inventory also for garbage collection, health checks, and other things. We are going to add this to the Helm release. It will not play let's say active role into the lifecycle management. We are not changing how Helm garbage collection works. This is purely from UX perspective. If you do kubectl get Helm release and you look at the status, you will see what things are managed in the cluster by the Helm release. And that will also benefit the web UI where we don't have to query secrets and so on. So this is more of a improvement on the discoverability part and we are not changing how a Helm lifecycle works. And finally, other things we are adding in 2.8, we are extending artifact generator to work with Helm charts. It can watch Helm charts objects. It can extract, for example, a Helm chart tar from a bucket and present that to the cluster. It comes with alerts and events for notification control. We are finally integrating artifact generator and source swatcher with notification control. So let's say you have an artifact generator that fails because you mistype the path or the copy operations are not allowed, then right now you don't get an alert for this. You need to look at Kubernetes events. So we are now finally integrating source swatcher with notification controller. And like with every other Flux operation, you can now create a Flux alert and say, alert me every time artifact generators in my cluster fail. And you'll receive those kind of alerts like everything else. So this is like a major step towards making artifact generator GA. It's currently in beta 1, but we plan probably by the end of the year to have artifact generator GA as well. And now for the less pleasant part of the release, to end users, we have reached end of life support for all the sources which are V1 beta 2, Helm releases, and customizations. So you have to go through the migration step again. It will be very similar to what users have done for migrating to 2.7. And this is part of our plan this year to remove all the deprecated APIs in Flux with the goal of if we have an API at GA, this should be the only API you should be using in your cluster. We cannot maintain these deprecated APIs for years and years. We are following Kubernetes deprecation removal timeframes, and we are finally doing it. So here we have still work to do. Mateus, you'll have to work on the Flux migration command. So the same that we have done for specifying the version that you want to migrate. We need to have it for 2.8 as well, and deal with all these new removals in the CLI.
This is basically updating that hard-coded table we have, right?
Yes, adding to the table where we have Flux version, what we need to remove, what we need to upgrade. We need to add the V1 beta 2 in there. Have basically, it shouldn't be much change. I think you kind of anticipated that we are going to do this. So there are small changes, but they are a major requirement. We can't release 2.8 without having the migration ready for this. And we have to update the migration guide in the discussion for 2.8. Tell people, hey, there is a new flag. This is what it, it does now, and so on, right? It's not a new flag. It's the flag that we currently have version will now also support 2.7 there, not only 2.6, right? And if you are migrating from 2.7 to 2.8, you need to run the migration commands. If you are going from 2.6, you can just from 2.4, whatever, 2.0, doesn't matter. You can jump directly to 2.8, right? By migrating all your repos to the latest supported versions. So yeah, these are, say, some things that are not yet implemented, and we need to do them. Flux migration. Other things. We have upgraded Flux to Kubernetes 135, control runtime, customized Helm. We have finally sorted out cosign V2 and V3 upgrade. Source controller will handle signatures with cosign V2 and signatures with cosign V3. So it's fully backwards compatible. No one has to re-sign all the images. But what this allows is unblocking you from moving to the latest cosign version and sign everything with the latest signature format. What we have still yet to do this week is upgrade all our pipelines, Docker files, everything to Go 126. This was released yesterday. It's a major step for the Go language. New garbage collector, lots of things. I've been reading all morning all the addition to Golang, and it's quite impressive what 126 comes with. I don't think we should delay this. I think we should move this week and have 126 in the as the build target. We are not going to enforce this on our consumers. So we are not going to bump the Go mode version everywhere. We are going to leave that for 2.9. But we want to make sure all our controllers are built with 2.6 and they benefit from the improvements of the 2.6 runtime. There are many things in there, lots of optimizations around garbage collection, memory allocation. So I think it's very beneficial for us to move now and not delay 3 months this runtime improvement. I expect no issues compiling Flux with 1.2.6. So yeah, we need to try it, run the end-to-end tests and do this. Other things, we need to run the conformance testing. Everything works right now with 135. I've already upgraded all our end-to-end tests or pipelines to latest Kubernetes. Everything is fine. Also OpenShift. I'm not sure if we have also upgraded EKS, AKS, and GKE. We need to look into the Terraform. Mateus, do you know if are we hard coding these versions, or every time we create a cluster, it will just use the latest available version in each cloud?
Of the providers and modules?
Yes.
I don't know. I need to check.
Okay. So this, we need to look into this. Basically, when we run the end-to-end tests with all these cloud providers, we need to look now in the logs and see what's the version of the cluster. If it's not 134, we should be there because this is the latest supported. Maybe Azure, I think, moved to 135. If we hardcode the version in Terraform, we should bump them. Hopefully not, and we just use whatever is the latest stable version as the environment. So this
So you
is
mean
more
actually
about
the version of the of Kubernetes in there, and not. I was thinking about the versions of the Terraform providers and modules,
no, no,
but you're
no.
saying is specific about Kubernetes version.
Yes, so we have Terraform that creates EKS clusters, AKS, GK, right? In there, of course, you could specify in your Terraform module, I want EKS 133, right? Hopefully,
Mhm.
we are not doing that and we leave that version specification empty. And that means, according to how cloud works, it should default to whatever is latest and stable in that time frame, right? So if we run them today, we should at least see 134 in there because 134 has been shipped everywhere. It's released for, I don't know, many months now, right? Um, so this is more about cross-checking our logs when we run the end-to-end test that we have at least 134 in there and we don't hard code anywhere older versions of Kubernetes. Um,
Yeah, they're running right now, and there is no logs with that. I'm gonna have to check in the code.
mm, no, it can't be. There must be logs. I mean, EKS for sure logs the Terraform provider, what version of EKS we are running on.
Yeah, but I think like the way we run Terraform is crazy. Like we run Terraform through Go. We don't
Yeah,
like just do Terraform apply. So the if you look at the CI jobs, like it's applying Terraform, one line, test run, destroying Terraform, no logs at all about what was applied in Terraform. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check in code what's happening.
let's have this logged.
Yeah, run GCP end-to-end tests. I'm looking at package though, but yeah, you should, if you scroll down, you should see what I'm talking about. You see there? Uh,
Yeah, it's here.
oh,
It's
in package,
124.3.
nice.
So
In package, it doesn't have this.
we run Flux check all the time, right?
Mm,
That's the first thing we run after Terraform finishes. And our
mm.
CLI tells us what
Right,
version of
right.
the cluster we are
Not
using, right?
Terraform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not Terraform, we do it, right?
yeah,
So for example, GK is already how I expected
yeah.
it to be the latest patch version of 34. Um,
Nice.
so we should be good. The only thing we have to check is AWS.
Cool.
Let me look now at Azure.
Azure is 133.
Are we hard coding this? Whites. Whites 30.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find out.
Yeah. Maybe we have some server restriction in the, or they default to some default or whatever. Let's see. It should be 134.
Cool, I'll look into it.
Well,
Where's the intent for Amazon? Is it in Flux too?
it's not in Flux 2. We do it in package.
Yeah, in package
That's
we do it for all providers, but I guess with this flux check command running, when you have Azure and GCP in Flux too.
we need to add AWS to Flux 2 as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so major task for you to have this done.
cool.
We don't need cloud commit. We can just use GitHub as the source for the end-to-end test.
Oh yeah, we don't even
Azure,
have support for code commit. I mean,
it's Git.
unless
It
it's
works.
yeah, unless it's just standard SSH, etc.
No, also token.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Not
but
workload.
yeah, no, we don't need like we have Azure, for example, the Azure end-to-end test uses Azure DevOps with, I think, token and workload identity.
Hmm.
Google uses their Git service. I forgot how it's called. Um, but we shouldn't be doing it. I mean, it's too much work to do this now. We should have the end-to-end test for AWS using GitHub, and that should be enough.
Cool.
And if we look into code commit this year, only then we are going to edit.
Yeah, someone opened a feature request for workload identity with code commit.
Yeah, they revived the project,
The
right? I also
service.
I
Yeah.
delete. We had like documentation how to do code commit bootstrap, and I deleted that when they said it's the service is done. Now we have to restore the page.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, so this was the overview of what we are doing with 2.8. Um, yeah, I think we should also advertise in the release blog post the RFC around PIFI and Spire and vendor neutral authentication for sources and everything else to get more eyes on it and yeah, reach out maybe to SPIFI maintainers to take a look at our RFC.
Yeah, today I had a call with Hussein, uh, who works with us. He is a specialist in Spiffy Inspire, and he gave me some insights.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you want to discuss any of that? As you said,
Oh
you're
no
gonna
no.
drop
We
her.
can uh, we can have a dedicated meeting for that RFC because it's like crazy complex. No time
Yeah,
to do
it
it
can even be like
now.
a month from now, probably.
Yes. Other things we we have decided to version our packages with backports. Um, and this is relevant maybe for those that, consume Flux packages outside of us. I know Kyverno and other projects are doing this. Um, the decision was to have a branch in Flux package where all the 50 Flux packages are, and we are going to do backports for a Flux minor version in the packages. For example, we are going to we already have now, I think you created Mateus, right? Is
Mhm.
the package repo has a branch called Flux version 2.8.x. We are after we release 2.8, if there is, let's say, a bug or we need to bump some dependency and make it part of a patch release of 2.8, we are going to backport changes in packages to this branch, and we are going to release patch versions of all our packages, all the 50 packages, for the minor version, which is currently using 2.8. It's something we need to do to unblock us because we can't just wait 1 month after we do a minor release of Flux and have a code freeze on all our packages. So what this means is that we'll have never rely on what GitHub tells you around latest. Use Semver because we are going to have mixed versions of all the FluxCD packages. We are going to have, let's say, our runtime will jump to a new minor, and we are going to have maybe a release of runtime, which will be a patch of the previous minor. So using any kind of latest based on timestamp, onto that use Semver, and yeah, that's just no one should be using latest for anything. It's just a warning that we are going to do this, and by just looking at releases will not be relevant. There will be older and newer versions of packages in parallel. So that's another big change for other controllers based on Flux packages. Mateus, any concerns around what's left to do for
For
this
the release.
release?
Uh, I guess there's two more PRs I want to merge, which is Renato's for notification control integration source watcher. I have already reviewed it. I gave my approval. It's only
Okay.
yours that's missing. Another PR in notification controller. Somebody wants to contribute other forms of authentication for NATs. And same, already reviewed, approved, looks good to me. That requires my main concern in that PR was trying to adhere to the standard secret keys that we already have and have mapped into variables in Go for the options of the notifier factory.
Mhm.
But uh, the, these new authentication forms in NATs are too exotic and don't they are not a good match for the standard keys we already have. So I am basically okay with allowing the NAT provider NAT's provider constructor to look at these exotic keys that seem. I mean, maybe now I'm thinking we could improve one of them, which is called creds. Like We can probably choose a better name for that one, but it first I thought it could be a token, but it's not really a token, it's some PEM encoded thing. So maybe we can improve the name for that key. Or maybe not, it doesn't really matter because it's just the NATS provider code that looks at it and whatever. It doesn't have an impact on the other. It's not like introducing a pattern that we're gonna have to adhere everywhere else. It's just what the NATS provider code looks at. So in the end, it's okay. And there's another one which is called N keys, whatever it is. Also a key with this name, N keys, to retrieve these N keys credentials from. Uh, Same thing. That's
Yeah,
more specific than creds, right?
I'm
Creds is hardcore.
yeah. I don't know if NAT's configuration uses creds, and I'm guessing it does from what I see here in their docs. It's like in the end, this is for NAT's users.
Yeah.
They set these things already in other places, in their consumers, workers, whatever they have for the NAT's queuing system, right?
Hmm.
So they are, for us, feels very weird to have the key and the seed and whatever in a thing called N key. But if you are a NAT user, I'm guessing that's the
Mm.
standard, right?
Yeah.
So uh, yeah, I'm not for changing this if this follows what how
Yeah, yeah.
NATS is being configured with
Yeah,
this type of
this is
credentials, right?
totally fine. The most
Yeah,
important fact that is this does not affect anything else besides the NATS provided in our code.
yeah, yeah. Cool.
So I'm fine with that.
Cool.
So yeah, I
So I
just
need
wanna
to review this one. It's nuts. I need to review source watcher,
yes, search
event
watcher.
recorder. Okay,
Yeah,
after, so I'll do the event recorder first. After merging this, I'm going to open a pull request in notification controller to add artifact generator and external artifact as accepted sources of
right. Good,
events, because
good catch.
only then we actually have notification working, right?
Yeah, but merge the Nats PR first so that guy doesn't have to rebase yet again. He did it a
Oh
few
yeah,
times
okay,
for
okay,
me already. So merge
okay,
that and then open
okay.
that pull
So I'll
request.
review nets first, then source watcher, then update notification controller to close this feature. Um, Other things for me to do. Do we have any other stuff not merged?
In terms of features, those are the last ones.
Oh, you need to do the migration,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
Flux
mean
migrate.
I mean, feature wise, those two things only.
Okay,
Then we have a ton of things to do for the release.
yeah, but migration is a feature. We are adding
Uh,
a
yeah,
new thing
sort
to
of. I mean,
the.
from what I remember, what we decided was to have the latest two minors in the code. I had a thought now that maybe we could keep a longer window. I don't know, maybe would that be useful to anybody? Would that not have issues? Like instead of removing 2.6 now, we just add 2.8 as latest?
We can't remove 2.6, right? Because we support three versions of Flux. We should discuss
Yeah,
to remove 2.6 when we do 2.9. So there is nothing to remove for this release. We
right.
support 2.6,
So
2.7, 2.8.
right, yeah. So my understanding last release was actually wrong. We were not
Yes.
ever going to remove from that table we were never going to support only two, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just add 2.8 there. Okay.
Right. Add to 2.6.
Does that depend on anything?
No.
No, right? Can do it like right now.
Yeah, because we have a table with API versions. I don't think we extract them from
Import.
dependencies. We have them in there,
Yeah, we
right? So
don't
I
like
don't
import the API packages of the controllers for this, I guess. I hope we don't.
for when you run Flux migration on a live cluster, of course we do. But there is no change there because how I wrote the live migration, that's dynamic. We look up the server, we figure out what versions there are, then we upgrade to latest according to what's in the CRD. So that
Yeah.
code should
What we
require
are
no
talking
changes.
about is the static one, this
Is the
the
static one.
migrate minus F, right?
Yes, the one that goes over files on disk, and that one should not rely on packages importing into the CLI. It should rely on what's there in that map where we say this version uses this API versions, this version uses this, right? So that's
Yeah.
anyway,
Cool.
2.7 is there. So even if your code uses the APIs, they're already in there, right? Because you're not the idea is you should be
Yeah,
able
the
to,
API versions are in there, right?
yeah.
Doesn't matter the controller
And
version.
another thing, this release, we haven't done any promotions,
Mm.
right? So there are basically no changes whatsoever of new API versions. We are only removing deprecated versions, right? So upgrading to 2.6 and what you wrote there was more complex because we had new versions. Right now, 2.8 looks exactly like 2.6 from what's GA, what's latest. The only difference is what we are removing. So maybe the change is just copy pasting what's in 2.7 for 2.8 and that's it, right?
Easy.
Yeah, we'll we only have to, be very careful when we do uh, alert and provider GA and artifact generator. Only then we need to, have code that does the migration and so on. Right now, it's like
To
no
think
difference.
for real when doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, artifact generator, I think it's straightforward. The GA with alert and provider, it's quite complicated. We'll have to have that discussion another time. I need to jump right now. You can
All right.
discuss further if you want. Sorry. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank
Jumping.
you,
Bye.
Stefan.
Nice.
I'm leaving too. Bye.
Yeah, me too. Have a good day. Bye.
All right.